Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to another exciting edition of KPW War Zone. It is I, Davey Styles, calling the action right down the middle, flying solo as always, and we're steadily approaching our final monthly special of the year, Toxicity, in just 12 nights on December 27th at 9/8 Central. We of course know what the World Heavyweight Championship will be contested between. We of course have the ever so dominant Siberian Silver Bear Pando going up against the star attraction, of course, Pierre Cinema, on that very fateful night. But we're not here to talk about the 27th. Let's get down to business. Let's talk about what's going to unfold here tonight at Warzone. Our main event of the evening, Pando will be in non-title action against the Rhinestone Cowboy, the Sauce. Also, still to come later in the evening, we will be hearing from the Viceroy, Jedi, for the very first time since his hellacious bout with the aforementioned World Heavyweight Champion back at Collision Course. Who knows what the future holds for the Viceroy, but this is certainly a time to redirect whatever efforts, redirect the focus however you can. A lot of rumors, a lot of speculation going around, but there's only one surefire way to find out what the Viceroy has to say later on tonight. And speaking of things that are going down later on tonight, tag team action is certainly one of them, as Bunker Hill, K-Dog Solo will be taking on the #1 contenders to the KPW Tag Team Championships, the Scheme. Bilko Bloom, steadfast business partners with the director, Steven Gielberg. He's been on one hell of a tear in recent months. Bilko and Bloom have been raising their stock alongside him. And K-Dog and Solo, they are very rapidly approaching another opportunity for KPW Tag Team Championship Gold. This would certainly put them in the conversation to become two-time KPW Tag Team Champions if they could best the #1 contenders here tonight. But also still to come, singles exhibition between two of the Twitch division's most prominent figures, as hard-boiled Kabuki goes one-on-one against the Diamond Dragon, Opulence. But to kick off tonight's program, we will be seeing the KPW Twitch champion himself in action for the first time ever on Warzone, as Rey Ilusion goes one-on-one with one of the most die-hard representatives of Parliament, Kruger. As I understand here, boys in the production truck, it appears that we're getting one hell of a message here. Cameras are rolling backstage. We're about to get word from the #1 contender to the KPW World Heavyweight Championship, the star attraction, Pierre Cinema. He's got cameras rolling in front of him. What the hell does he have to say?
I know that Def Warren has been signed for Toxicity. I'm gonna be in for the fight of my life that night. And let me tell you folks, It's been such a long time since I felt so much pressure weighing me down like this. And you know what? I feel alive. This is the rush I've been looking for. I remember when I was the champ myself and I stared you dead in the eyes. Never broke my gaze. No fear in my heart. I knew that one day, Pando, we would meet properly in that ring. And what a way to celebrate the holidays. I've been asking for a match like this for a long time. I've been waiting for a challenge like this all my life. You may be a superior athlete. Faster, much stronger, you're a genetic freak. But I'm a patient man, Pando. I've got the brains. And all I need from you is that Achilles heel. No matter what you do, it's gonna reveal itself in time. And when the world sees your moment of weakness, I'm gonna be right there to take back what's mine.
A strong head on that Pierre Cinema. We're gonna play this very scientific, very tactical. As he marches towards December 27th. And speaking of marching, look no further than Kruger, representing Parliament. Looking to bring some pride back home to his stalwarts, including the Monarch Oliver English, a man that's come quite under fire even within his own house, as his supporters begin to lose more and more faith within that man. You heard it from Hostway, we even heard it from Tori. Oliver English is losing sight of his own great vision. They've already heard ramblings of Oliver English looking to go for Popo's KPW American Championship, as it seems like Parliament as a whole is just scrambling for any kind of victory, especially over Bunker Hill, and we'll be seeing them in action later on tonight. Ilusion whip into the turnbuckle. And if Kruger could pick up a victory here tonight against Rey Ilusion, certainly that would have to open the door at least a little bit to one of the two men that could qualify for that Twitch Championship. In Oliver English and in Hostway. They might have to wait a little bit, considering that the #1 contender for the Twitch Championship, Kabuki, will be getting his crack at the gold on at Toxicity. Sit out powerbomb, 2 count, courtesy of our lead official Slap Thigh Jones. Now leaping clothesline. Ilusion looking to follow that up with a second clothesline. Kruger moved out of range for that strike. And it's just the most peculiar thing regarding Rey Ilusion. We have no clue who this man is, where he came from, how he got the credentials to compete in the division level and become the Twitch champion. And we've seen this come into play in his bouts here. A lot of hesitation when he reaches a great height. And speaking of men shrouded in mystery, we've seen sightings of the Dinger ever since Collision Course. And he's had quite a violent presence ever since he came back. But he seems to be on the hunt for something. He seems to be searching for something in particular. And a low blow from the Twitch champion. A right hook to take down Kruger. Another standing clothesline drop kick takes down Kruger.
2, 3.
Rey Ilusion taking a fly
4,
here, and he
5,
chickened out at the last second.
6, 7, 8, 9, 10.
That must be a very, very contentious mind
12.
for the KPW Twitch champion. He wants to take to the skies and soar.
50.
But whenever the opportunity presents itself, he chooses to hesitate.
70.
In moments of hesitation like this, that gives a man like Kruger the perfect opportunity to even the score and fight back. Kruger scouted that drop kick attempt. Oh no, a tie up. Kruger going for a stun gun, draping the neck of Rey Ilusion over that top rope. Running power slam. And Kruger's back on his own 2 feet. It looks like the Twitch champion, he's getting quite frustrated at Kruger. And his tenacity, his persistence to keep fighting. That's something that we have seen ever since Collision Course. Rey Ilusion
4,
not hesitating to play dirty when he needs to.
7, 8, 9,
Action spilled to the outside,
10,
side kick into the kidneys
11, 12.
of the Twitch champion. A sidewalk slam on the floor.
50.
A drop kick takes Kruger off the apron.
2, 3.
And it looked like the Twitch champion, looked like Rey Ilusion was gonna go for it this time. And Kruger cut him off. But whatever minutia Rey Ilusion is trying to work up, he's starting to feel it. He is making healthy compromises here. Short arm clothesline. Right hook from the Twitch champion. Face crusher. Compromising for the second rope. Dropping down the elbow. And Kruger's got a hell of a reversal. Back body drop for the Twitch champion. And Kruger and Rey Ilusion, he is fired up. Irish whip right to a TKO. Cover.
1, 2, 3. Pinfall.
And the Twitch champion reigns supreme here tonight. There's no denying how impressive this man's wrestling ability is. We've seen him take one hell of a fight to Kruger here tonight. We saw him make one hell of a debut against the Sauce at Collision Course. And we will be seeing him in action in our main event here tonight. as we get another look at that TKO. What an absolutely vicious landing for Kruger. He had nowhere else to go but down. A lot of the openings that Kruger had in this bout, it was provided from the hesitation of the Twitch champion. But I doubt that he thought twice about executing that TKO here tonight. Congratulations to the KPW Twitch champion, Rey Ilusion, on one hell of a victory here tonight. As I understand, coming up next, we'll be hearing from the Viceroy, Jedi, for the first time since Collision Course. And speaking of the devil, he is just wasting no time marching down to that ring. He has a lot to talk about, a lot to get off of his chest.
For the first time since Collision Course, I can look at you all face to face. The pain that I had to endure that night was unlike any pain I had ever felt before. Not many people can walk away from a moment like that, but I am not like many people. I refuse to stand here and become the nostalgia act. I refuse to rest on laurels like others in the back do. I give my word as a man that's ran it all before. In 2026, I will run the world once again. I will have that beautiful world championship around my waist and history will be made once again. I might not be at 100% now, but you know damn well that I could take anybody back there on my worst night. A Viceroy at full power? Ain't nobody gonna hold me back from my goals.
What the hell is this? This is quite the unexpected interruption here. That is the music of the director, Steven Spielberg. Jedi was making some serious plans heading towards the new year. He knows that he has quite the ability to get back into the World Championship groove, that World Championship chase. What does Steven Spielberg have to do with any of this? And he's looking to make a statement here tonight at the expense of the Viceroy. We know he's not at 100%. Who could forget that brutal main event, that main event that left Jedi battered, bloodied, and bruised? It took a bear claw from the very top rope just to put down Jedi. And Steven Spielberg, he's looking to make a name for himself. He's looking to raise his stock by any means necessary. Sounded very much like the Viceroy. He was getting quite reminiscent here, and it appears that being rammed into that turnbuckle, he might have been busted wide open. Now, I don't know if Jedi can take this. Blue shell bomb.
Knockout.
Him not being at 100% here tonight was out of the question, but what condition is the Viceroy going to be after an attack like that? hell is the meaning of this attack? Why did Steven Gilbert target the Viceroy? What a hell of a beatdown. Short, sweet, to the point. The Viceroy, he is on the apron here. He is clutching at his neck. He might have pinched a nerve from that blue shell bomb. Steven Gilbert taking in the ire of the crowd here tonight at the Kumite Forum as he attempts to jump the line here and get more opportunities than before. And speaking of opportunities, look no further, because the #1 contender for the KPW Twitch Championship will be in action up next as Kabuki goes one-on-one against the Diamond Dragon, Opulence. Kabuki's had quite a tumultuous month as of late. We saw him taken out of that World Championship Contender Battle Royale 2 weeks ago. Courtesy of the Dinger. But he did find some solid ground last week. He found one hell of a compromise. He can now challenge Rey Ilusion for the Twitch Championship in just 12 nights at Toxicity. And here we have one of KPW's most recent signees. A man that's been making quite a splash here in KPW over the past month. Opulence, the Diamond Dragon. We're gonna take the fight right to hard-boiled Kabuki. Spinning back elbow takes down Opulence. Side Russian leg sweep takes down Kabuki. Opulence with a distinct size advantage over the #1 contender for the Twitch Championship. At least a 30-40 pound advantage here tonight. Opulence looking to pick up Kabuki into that fireman's carry position, and Kabuki got out of it. Side suplex from Kabuki. Kabuki looking to gouge the eyes of Opulence. Rolling wheel kick takes down the Diamond Dragon. Kabuki picking out his strikes, picking out his timing quite efficiently, quite eloquently. Opulence needs to make up the difference however he can. He does not have quite the same amount of experience in the ring that Kabuki does. We've seen Kabuki in some very prominent bouts over the course of the past year. It was just the end of last year that we saw this man make his debut. Kabuki has yet to win any championship gold here in KPW. He could change that all in just 2 weeks' time. December 27th, our final monthly special event of the year, Toxicity. when he takes on Rey Ilusion for the Twitch Championship. Kabuki tossing Opulence out of the ring. Neckbreaker from Kabuki. Send that up from that Irish whip. Opulence giving Kabuki one of his own. Cyclone strike into the corner. And what a thrust to the throat courtesy of Kabuki. Another cyclone strike courtesy from Opulence. These two men, they are quite well versed here. Big spine buster from Opulence, using the momentum of Kabuki against him. What a back and forth bout we have here tonight. These two men taking the fight to one another. Power and elbow set up from Kabuki, looking to go for a German suplex. Opulence takes him down with a reverse armbar. Opulence looking to target the less protected arm of Kabuki with that armbar. Quite a tactical move from the Diamond Dragon. Man, that's made quite a name for himself. Overseas, he's built up quite a reputation before coming to KPW. And now he is within the league of the big boys. This is where the big boys play. Scissor sweep from Opulence. Looking to pick up Kabuki. German suplex, but Kabuki lands on his feet. Headbutts to the back of the head of Opulence. Now is Kabuki looking for the Cyclone Strike, looking to take a page out of the book of Opulence, and he does so. Once again, ladies and gentlemen, we are back to a stalemate here. Kabuki tossing Opulence through the ropes and down to the floor, and Kabuki looks to meet him on the outside.
5, 6, 7, 8.
X-Plex from Kabuki on the floor.
10.
Opulence protected his head a little bit, able to get back to his own 2 feet, back to that vertical base a little bit quicker than Kabuki expected. Kabuki winning that brief striking exchange. An uppercut takes down Opulence. Waistlock reversal from Opulence. Shin breaker to slow down hard-boiled Kabuki, one of the fastest men in all of KPW, one of the most agile men, especially in the Twitch division. Big power slam from Opulence, setting it up with that suplex position.
1, 2, 3.
Big plancha down to the floor, courtesy of Kabuki, using that top rope to propel himself.
7, 8.
And that is the thing we're seeing unfold here tonight between these two men, Kabuki, Opulence. They have such a unique style when it comes to the bell-to-bell action. They have quite a different approach from each other when it comes to fighting spirit. And the ways that these two get creative inside the ring just to put the other man down is quite astonishing to see here. And I think the fans here, the ravenous Kumite faithful, they're really soaking this one up. These two styles clashing in the ring here. Back elbow from Opulence, using that second rope as a springboard. An open palm strike to the chest takes down Opulence. That's one hell of a way to take the breath out of somebody. Another power slam, courtesy of Opulence. Another throat thrust, courtesy of Kabuki. Both of these men, they have the wherewithal, they have the power, they have the energy and the ability to conserve said energy. There is a good chance we could see these two go quite the distance. 30-minute time limits in effect for TV time. Opulence looking for that chandelier lock. Contorting and twisting the arms of Kabuki in ways that they were not designed to be. And Kabuki frantically reached the ropes. But look at the damage done here tonight, folks. Kabuki heavily favoring that left arm. And slowly yet surely, Opulence, he has been chipping away at that left arm of Kabuki. And he's already seeing results from this. Irish whip reversal from Opulence, back elbow, but Kabuki's still on his feet. Side Russian leg sweep. Cover.
1, 2, 3. Pinfall.
And Opulence takes control here tonight. And if the words of pure cinema haven't rung throughout the course of this show, it's all been about finding that moment of weakness. Even if you have to create that moment yourself. All it takes is one opportunity to let your guard down, and the wrong man will capitalize at your worst possible time. We saw Kabuki exhausted, gassed to the gills, courtesy of those chandelier locks, exhausting all of his energy, doing whatever he could to scramble towards those ropes to force the rope break. And he just had nothing left to give from that point forward. As Opulence picks up one hell of a victory here tonight. As he continues to raise his stock here in KPW, the Diamond Dragon reigns supreme tonight. And coming up next, tag team action from two of KPW's most prominent teams. as Bunker Hill, K-Dog, Solo, they'll be teaming up once again in the quest and that hunt become two-time KPW Tag Team Champions as they go up against the Scheme, Bilko, Bloom. Two men that have been joined at the hip of the director, Steven Gilberg. This has already been one hell of a night of destruction for somebody like Steven Gilberg. Let's see if the Scheme are gonna be able to match that energy here tonight, but they got one hell of a fight on their hands. As Bunker Hill marches down to ringside. K-Dog, Solo. And not to mention their two stalwarts that also represent Bunker Hill, Popcorn Poppy, and of course the KPW American Champion Popo. They'll be watching from behind the curtains. Out marches the Scheme. You know what they are here to expect. They have to play their hand quite carefully. They can't exactly go for the same tactic that Steven Gilberg did onto the Viceroy earlier on tonight. They're gonna have to make the most out of this opportunity. K-Dog, Solo, they're both at 100%. And the Scheme, they got one hell of a fight on their hands. K-Dog electing to start this bout for Bunker Hill. Bilko starting this bout for the Scheme. Knife edge chops from K-Dog. Picking out his opportunity to strike here. Bilko taking down K-Dog with a hellacious forearm strike. Looking to keep the pressure up, looking to keep that pressure high. Bunker Hill doing one hell of a job isolating Bilko from his tag team partner. Leg lock on K-Dog, taking a page out of the Pitbull's book. As I'm receiving word here, ladies and gentlemen, courtesy of the board of directors, next week on Warzone, we will be seeing quite a litany of stars take to the ring in 1 week's time before Toxicity, including the Scheme, as they'll be in tag team action once again. They'll be keeping the reps up before they challenge for the tag team championships at Toxicity, as the Scheme will be going up against David Rush, Hollywood Hannon, otherwise known as the Boise Boys, in just 1 week's time. Also to come next week, the Sauce will be back in action, this time against the director, Steven Gilberg. And was sure to be one explosive bout here. Sunset flip reversal courtesy of Solo. As he keeps the blunt force coming towards the Scheme. Speaking of Bunker Hill, we'll be seeing them in action, at least one of them, as the KPW American Champion Popo will be going up against the war hero, the Sarge himself, Sergeant Foxtrot, in 1 week's time, with more to be announced over the course of the week. Drop kick to the knee of Solo, trying to take him off that vertical base. And Bilko got the job done even momentarily, but he didn't have enough time to capitalize on it. Forearm strike takes down Solo. Headlock courtesy of Bilko. Solo far away from his tag team partner. Both of these men, in fact, are in quite uncharted waters. Some serious middle ground here. Snapmare courtesy of Solo. Solo thinking a small package. Bilko puts the boot to it, however. He halts that attempt quite decisively, quite swiftly. And these are some serious reps that we're looking to see courtesy of the Sauce. We know he'll be in the main event coming up here tonight, and he may be in the main event once again next week on War Zone. As the board of directors Michinoku driver on K-Dog, pardon me, and K-Dog's up before one. That Michinoku driver, that might have lit a fire underneath the pit bull here tonight. And his ability to take a beating, his endurance, his stamina. K-Dog is quite possibly one of the most gifted athletes across all of KPW. And he's got one hell of a tag team partner in a Scrapyard Saint Solo. As the board of directors was relaying information before at Toxicity, we will be having more championship contenders. As two men have quite the stock heading in towards the end of the year. We're of course talking about the Sauce, as he looks to take not one but two main events over the course of the next 2 weeks, including here tonight. But the man that will be facing him on the other side of that ring on the 27th at Toxicity to determine who will get the first world title shot in 2026. The King of Stego Style, Corey Sinclair. Big uppercut from K-Dog to Bloom. Head scissors takedown on the pit bull. K-Dog taking that chicken wing suplex. Brainbuster courtesy of Bloom. Solo doing whatever he can to buy his partner some time to recuperate. A quick jab works Bloom back towards the corner of Bunker Hill. Bilko gets the tag. He is looking to make one hell of an impact here. And the substance of his involvement in this tag team bout here tonight, he has been providing one hell of a fight for Bunker Hill. He is making sure that they do not walk away so easily if they're even able to pick up the victory here tonight. K-Dog, Solo, they have quite the reputation since they started teaming together under the Bunker Hill umbrella. Former KPW Tag Team Champions, the Scheme have yet to pull off that same feat. K-Dog taking a bullet for his own partner. As Bilko open palm strikes K-Dog off the apron and down to the floor. And Bilko going low to neutralize the Scrapyard Saint. Bilko. Tiger suplex, but Solo's foot was touching the rope. His saving grace. Bilko going up top here. They can miss out drop kick, but Solo had it scouted. Schoolboy attempt. These two teams, these four men, they're taking one hell of a fight to one another. You've seen how contentious, how fiery the KPW Tag Team division can be sometimes. And there is a lot of fire, there's a lot of vitriol between these two teams here tonight. German suplex, intervention by Solo, but Bloom lands on his feet. K-Dog drilling that elbow like a stake into the heart of Bloom. Followed it up with an enziguri. And Bloom with a low blow. This has been one hell of a fight here, folks. Bloom with an enziguri of his own. Snap suplex courtesy of Bloom. Bloom might be thinking about tagging in Bilko. He's got one hell of an opportunity to make that opening. And Bloom has elected to keep the fight, keep the pressure high on K-Dog. He's the fresher of the two men regarding Bunker Hill right now. K-Dog, Solo, they got one hell of a fight on their hands this week. Popo's got a hell of a fight on his hands next week. And who could forget about the unique circumstances that Popcorn Poppy has found himself in? Next week, he'll be meeting the First Nation in the ring, Slarty Shuko, for a summit. Who knows what that might entail regarding the First Nation. But we know that Popcorn Poppy, he's been on one hell of a search for redemption, trying to work his way towards championship gold, specifically the World Heavyweight Championship. Michinoku driver on Solo.
One, two, three, pinfall.
And Bilko with the distraction. The scheme. Sneak one away from Bunker Hill tonight. This is looking to be a good night for the company of Steven Gilbert, Bloom, Bilko, the scheme. That loose partnership, this deadly triple threat alliance. Has been quite the rising tide. It's lifted every ship involved. And tonight has been no different. Steven Gilbert making one hell of a statement, taking out the Viceroy. And now the scheme keeping the pressure up high, looking to make a further statement towards the tag team champions, the Murder Hornets, ahead of Toxicity. As we get another look at Bloom dragging Solo's body across the ring after drilling him with that Michinoku driver. Think about how quickly everything changed for Bunker Hill once they pulled all the stops just to put down Solo here tonight. Congratulations to the scheme on one hell of a victory here tonight. Coming up next, our main event of the evening. Non-title action as the World Heavyweight Champion, the Siberian Silver Bear, Pando, will be going one-on-one against the Sauce. As I understand, we have cameramen on standby backstage. We're gonna get a word with the aforementioned trio of the scheme and Steven Gilbert. Let's see what the hell this is all about.
Did you boys see that shit? Take notes, ladies and gentlemen, because the studio is ready to run it all. If there's one thing I learned, it's that you gotta lead by example. I made an example out of Jedi earlier tonight. He's old news. He ain't gonna be around here for a long time. I broke his neck with my blue shell bomb, busted him up quicker than Pando ever could. And Pierre, I took that advice to heart. All I have to do, guys, is wait for a moment of weakness to reveal itself. I exploited that weakness, and Jedi isn't gonna be around to stop me. Let's keep that train rolling, boys. Next week, I got another man on our hit list. He's a smidge higher than me on the contenders list. He's gonna take on Corey Sinclair at Toxicity, a man I respect for turning over that new leaf. I don't know if you're listening, Mr. Rhinestone Cowboy. Heed the words Pierre spoke. I will find your moment of weakness in that ring, and I will make you beg for mercy. And the scheme are gonna hang you out to dry if you think you're gonna get a world title shot on my watch. Come on, folks. Who the hell do you think is gonna be able to stop us?
What the hell is this? The lights are going out in the locker room.
If you smell what the rock is cooking.
That could possibly be more interference. That could, with the amount of enemies that Steven Gilbert has made in recent months, that could have been anybody. But one thing is for certain. He has used and twisted the words of Pierre Cinema to wipe out some of KPW's most prominent talent. And marching into next week's War Zone, the Sauce has a price on his head. Pando looking like $1 million here tonight. We have never seen this man in better shape than he is here right now and in the flesh. He's got one hell of a fight on his hands here tonight. And he doesn't expect Toxicity to be any different. Here we go, folks. Main event action. Pando takes on the Sauce, non-title action. Episode 90 of KPW War Zone. As these two look to take one hell of a fight to each other. We got one hell of a stare down, one hell of a stalemate. They're looking to take their 10 paces and draw in front of the Kumite Forum, packed, stacked, and sold out. Pando with a spear to the Sauce. Cover. And we've seen that spear be used as a neutralizer. He's been using that spear to incapacitate his opponents over the course of the past 8 months. And think about the rise to power that Pando had as he got to where he is here tonight. Very firmly established as the second longest reigning world champion in KPW history. The sky is truly the limit for the Siberian Silver Bear. The only man that has held that world championship longer than him. He took the fight to him last month at Collision Course, and he emerged victorious in quite destructive fashion. Considering what we saw earlier on tonight regarding the Viceroy Jedi, we'd expect him to be on the shelf for quite some time after that vicious blue shell bomb. I think he pinched a nerve on that landing. And the hubris, the ego coming out full force on the director. We saw him take no shame, no hesitation whatsoever to take all the credit for himself for applying those finishing touches, for taking out Jedi.
2, 3,
Pando looking to soar.
5,
Senton down to the floor, but the Sauce
7,
saves his skin. He moves out of the way at the very last moment.
10, 11, 12, 13.
And it's a moment like this where the Sauce has every opportunity to strike here. Pando looking to go for looking to slingshot himself over that top rope. The Sauce just a little bit too far out of his range, and the Sauce looks to capitalize on that arm of Pando. Going back to the armbar once again.
One, two, three, 4, 5, 6.
Pando looking to go for that slingshot again. I think the Sauce was ready for it. He was locked and loaded with a way to counter it, with a way to circumvent it. But I don't think he had anything in the plans to circumvent that one.
One.
Pando tying him up like a pretzel knot. Shin breaker from the Sauce. We know all about the condition of Pando. We know that even at the condition that we see him here tonight, he is still a tour de force here in KPW. He is still on top of the food chain. He still has every tool at his possession to maintain that World Heavyweight Championship.
One.
Knee brace or not,
Two.
Pando looking to fly again.
3, 4.
And whether or not the
Five.
Sauce was aware of it or not, he has
Six.
dodged yet another bullet,
7,
courtesy of the World Heavyweight Champion.
9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14.
You know that Pando has one gigantic scar on the side of his right knee after he did that death-defying moonsault off the top of a tractor trailer just 6 months ago. And ever since, he put his own life on the line, put his body on the line. It has been nothing but onwards and upwards for Pando. But the Sauce has been doing one hell of a job here tonight, trying to deconstruct the world champion, trying to find a new weakness in the Siberian Silver Bear. And you know how strenuous it can be, how stressful it can be for the schedule of a World Heavyweight Champion. That senton down to the floor, just doing no luck for Pando whatsoever.
6, 7, 8,
The Sauce whips him right into the steel steps.
10, 11, 12, 13.
It's not very often where we see this side of Pando come to light here, come to action here. Diving clothesline from the top rope. This could arguably be even more dangerous than what we're accustomed to. We have no idea how Pando is going to behave, how he's going to act inside that squared circle. If he is forced to get more and more desperate. But he is looking to make the absolute most of his strength and his power, his speed. And we heard that from Pierre Summit here tonight. He understands going into their main event championship bout at Toxicity. Pando is on nearly every metric the superior athlete. And based off the track record at this point, especially, this could be the one that sits in the mind of Pierre Cinema the most. Pando's held on to that World Heavyweight Championship longer than he has now.
3,
Moonsault down to the floor, courtesy of that World Heavyweight Champion.
6,
And he's looking to follow up with some serious crossface hook strikes to the back of the head of the Sauce.
10, 11,
Pando thinking a second moonsault, but nobody home this time.
3, 4,
As the Sauce has found himself one hell of an opening to recuperate and get his bearings straight once again.
8, 9,
Pando, he looks like he might be out cold. He took one hell of a tumble
11,
with nobody home.
13,
Pando, count of 14, finally starting to see some signs of life once again.
16, 17,
Count of 17. Pando thinking a spear, but the Sauce moved out of range once again. That has been one hell of an issue for Pando here tonight. He may have a stronger reach than the Sauce, but the Sauce has been able to work within that difference. He's been spending the vast majority of this bout exploiting that difference. And a right hand takes down the world champion. But Pando takes down the Sauce with a strike of his own. The Sauce, look at, almost running right into a gut wrench power bomb. And now the Sauce looking to capitalize another armbar.
break,
As we mentioned earlier, we heard the words of Pierre Cinema at the start of tonight's event. He knows that he is quite the underdog heading into Toxicity. Pando is a superior athlete on nearly every metric, but Pando does not have the experience, he does not have the street smarts, he does not have the brains that Pierre Cinema does. And we are seeing that weakness in action here tonight. The Sauce exploiting the World Heavyweight Champion for the world to see. Pando already favoring that left arm here. Pando knocking out the Sauce with a chop to the chin. And what a hard-hitting bout this has been. What a main event this has been here tonight. Pando looking to go for a corner splash from the second rope, but the Sauce moves out of the way once again. That aerial offense is something that Pando likes to fall back on. And you would expect a near 300-pound man like Pando to take to the skies as often and as comfortable as he does. Tilt to whirl power slam, cover hook in the leg, and the Sauce barely beats the count. Pando getting a bit aggressive, getting a bit frustrated here. Scoop slam courtesy of the Rhinestone Cowboy. Drilling a knee into the groin of the world champion. Spinning wheel kick from the Siberian Silver Bear, following up with a knee drop to the face of the Sauce. Suplexing the Sauce back over into the ring. And the wear and tear of this bout is really starting to make itself apparent, especially with the world champion Pando favoring that left arm heavily. And he's got to be extremely careful about these precautions here.
3, 4, 5.
Senton from the apron down to the floor.
8,
And he finally has some luck with that maneuver.
10, 11, 12, 13, 14.
Running drop kick from the world champion. The action returns inside the ring. Slot Thigh Jones officiating our main event of the evening here tonight, folks. As these two men, they're looking to risk it all here tonight. Pando using his one good arm to carry through on that fallaway slam.
2, count 2.
The strength of the world champion on full display here tonight. Pando moving in with the sleeper hold. Look at this, sap whatever energy is left in the Sauce. The Sauce with a headlock takeover. And Pando screaming in agony. His foot was at the rope. And this is exactly what we are seeing unfold here tonight. The words of pure cinema ringing true throughout the course of this program, being put to action by friends and foes alike. Pando being exploited here tonight in the main event, as he's picking up some serious damage to that left arm of his. And what a spear from Pando! Lateral press!
2, count 2.
And oh, the Sauce! The Sauce is back up at 2. And Pando looks to try and keep him down with yet another spear. Pando's got to be real careful about the gun show that he's trying to flex. He could seriously do some damage to that arm if he's not careful. The Sauce, that's exactly what he's been hoping for. And the Sauce goes low on Pando. Exchange of strikes. The Sauce gets the upper hand. Pando drops down from the apron, pulls the Sauce to the outside.
3, 4.
And a spear in front of the Kumite faithful.
7, 8, 9, 10.
Those fans in the first several rows of the Kumite Farm there are certainly getting their money's worth here tonight. Shin breaker from the Sauce. The extremities of Pando have been slowly, steadily, and surely getting more and more weakened, courtesy of the offense dished out here by the Rhinestone Cowboy himself. swinging neck breaker, but Pando, he's back up to his feet. This has truly opened up the doors here for Pandora's box, especially regarding toxicity. We have the list of combatants, a list of competitors that have been able to walk away saying that they were able to defeat Pando. That's an extremely short list. Belly to back suplex courtesy of the Sauce. Sauce looking to add his name to that list. We've seen Sigma Shuko pull off the deed before. We've seen Robbie Deuce do it before by nefarious tactics. I don't think we've seen it any other time. Pando's win-loss record here in KPW, it might be the best in company history. Full Nelson on the Sauce. Set it up from a camel clutch position. If there's one man that the Sauce doesn't want to be his personal chiropractor here tonight, it's the KPW World Heavyweight Champion. But Pando, he is clubbing the hell out of the Sauce here tonight. He's not going to make this easy whatsoever, and it certainly hasn't been for either one of them. The Sauce taking to the top rope here, digging deep. Pando making that opening for himself for that spear. Sauce back up to his 2 feet. Pando with one hell of a reversal. These two are barely... These two, they are still taking the fight to one another. And they're both struggling to stay at a vertical base here. What sort of condition is the Sauce going to be in regarding his bout with Steven Gilbert next week? And how is that arm of Pando going to be in time for toxicity in just 12 nights? Belly to back suplex onto the Sauce. Pando with another clubbing strike to the back of the neck of the Sauce. He's clutching that neck. He found that moment of weakness. Bear claw. Cover.
1, 2, 3. Pinfall.
And what we just saw here tonight, ladies and gentlemen, this was a war living up to the namesake here tonight. These two men, they held a lot of respect for one another. They still maintain that respect for one another. They push each other to their absolute limits. This was a true showcase for both of these men. As Pando showcases his endurance here tonight, his ability to take a beating and get back to his own 2 feet. Pierre Cinema's gonna have a hell of a fight on his hands on the 27th, our next monthly special event, Toxicity, where he will challenge the Siberian Silver Bear for the World Heavyweight Championship. And that is all the time we have here, folks. I have been Tapey Styles, the only man that can call the action right down the middle, flying solo as always. Wishing you all a good night, everybody.